It's really easy to motivate yourself to study breast cancer. 40,000 American women die from breast cancer every year. That's like filling a baseball stadium with women every single year.
If you look at the causes of breast cancer, about 10% of people have a genetic or family history. 90% do not.
The federal government, although it supports a lot of health sciences, it's not so great at supporting prevention. 95–98% of all the money that comes from the NIH goes towards developing treatments, therapies, which is fine. Except that if they spent a little more money on prevention, we'd be able to prevent people from even experiencing this, from waking up one day and finding out they have breast cancer.
There is much more effort invested in finding the cure, not so much in finding the cause.
The idea of the consortium was to bring together 4 experts in a geographically close area to really attack this issue of breast cancer prevention.
David is a real innovator and a real trailblazer in being able to link people together with complementary skills to really address a question and a problem.
Find the Cause is one of the few places where you can go where the money goes directly towards finding out what causes these cancers and finding a way to prevent them from happening in the first place.
A lot of what we do requires actually performing experiments, and to perform those experiments, of course, we need resources. Through Find the Cause, we're capable of basically procuring those resources.
We generated the initial data that led to the discovery that NF-kappa B, this factor that promotes the survival and the growth of breast tumors. David and I could put together a pathway that said, well, here's a way that the environment could be causing breast cancer. The major thing we're working on, funded by Find the Cause, is that we're trying to develop a method of detecting when a person has been exposed to a carcinogen.
My research is done not in wet lab, it's done actually on computers. Think of it as Google of biological data, basically. We're mining large amounts of biological data, looking for patterns that can be supporting the biological question that we're asking, that is whether a chemical is carcinogenic or not.
There's 84,000 chemicals out there in the environment, and we know almost nothing about whether they're carcinogenic. So if you learn something about one of them or 2 of them, specifically how they work, then you can go back and implicate several of the others in the class.
What we're doing is we're taking chemicals that are in our environment and we're putting them on the cells we know are the precursors to cancer, and we're asking, what are the cells doing in response to these chemicals?
If we can say, if you've been exposed to this carcinogen, these factors are going to get into the blood, and we identify them, then we can detect them. And that will tell us when a person has gotten exposure to a carcinogen.
That will be very important from a scientific point of view to, for example, design other chemicals that might not trigger the same mechanism, but might still be useful for the purpose that they were originally designed for.
We are very indebted to Find the Cause for providing the funding that is enabling us to do this work.
Private foundations are really the lifeline for biomedical research in this time. One project that would have not have been at all possible without their funds, and that has been in the area of immunology and the connections between immunology and breast cancer formation. This was something that was completely initiated through the funding and the support from this foundation, from Find the Cause, and without it would not be able to be in a position today where I'm trying to apply for grants and applying to try for larger investments. Because of the initial experiments we were able to conduct with the support of Find the Cause. Find
the Cause is really making an effort to correct that imbalance by tipping the scale towards prevention.
Somewhere between 50 and 80% of the breast cancers could be avoided if we can really identify which of these chemicals are causing the cancers, for one, and for 2, making people understand that this is something that is doable. It's not impossible. It's not unsolvable.
Without money and funding from Find the Cause, we would not be able to do this project. And I think this is the seed money, and the seed's going to grow a big tree.